everybody. Welcome back to Real Talk. Today we're going to talk about real estate, real life, real fun, and real conversations. Hi, thank you so much for joining us on Real Talk. We are doing episode 2 with Tausha, my business coach, and I cannot wait to share with you her philosophy on mindset. So Tausha, welcome back to Real Talk.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, again, so we have so much to talk about. We're doing 2 episodes, but I thought it was really important to share your philosophy about coaching and then talk
Okay.
about mindset. As I mentioned in the last episode, one of the reasons I wanted you as my coach was I had heard that you are a wizard at mindset. And it's something that was very important to me after what I had been through to get, as I mentioned before, getting my power back, which was
Right.
a really hard way for me to explain the way I was feeling. But I just wanted that, little kick in the soul to make
Right.
me feel that, I was back as a person, as a
Right.
human, and as a business person. So let's talk about a couple different things here. So why do you think it's important for somebody in the business world, of real estate or any genre, to have a business coach?
The most important reason that coaching supports our clients is that it's very difficult to see the label from inside the bottle. Okay. You are in your business and you're working it every day and you're handling the stresses. But to operate that business without having someone who can see it differently than
Yeah,
you might be running patterns or programs that aren't serving you, that are in your way. And so to have an outlet that really cares about you, that you trust, that understands business and understands how to scale business, to say to you, hey Karen, look here. Hey, what about this? Are there holes here?
yeah, the
That's going to give
goals.
you the support. The holes are huge, right? And that's going to give you the support in order to hit your goals and run a more effective business. So, bottom line, hard to see the label from inside the bottle. You need outside perspective sharing with you what's going on in the business, where are we with innovation, and how do you really show up outside looking in?
Yeah. So, for example, we just redid our whole entire transaction system with new emails, better customer service, and you were helpful during that process. You've also helped me tremendously on mindset. You spoke at our business planning last year,
Mm-hmm.
and we had you focus on mindset with the team. So I really want to talk to you today about the mindset. So tell us about your mindset, why you think mindset's so important for a real estate agent or anybody in sales, because you never know who's listening.
Right. In sales and in business, honestly, in life, Karen,
Yeah.
85% of success is mindset. And studies have shown this across the board. 15% is your skills, your market, your tools, all of that. But if you don't believe that you can do it and you don't have the mindset to support the actions and the discipline that it's going to take, you will not succeed there because it is such a huge component. Henry Ford said, if you believe you can or believe you can't, either way, you're correct.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how you believe, how you think, how you operate is the largest determinator of success in business and, my thought, in life. It is immensely important. So that's why it means something to me, because if you're not right, that's going to spill over into everything else.
So what have you always focused on mindset with your clients, or was it like an aha moment one day when you realized, wow, this is something I'm very good at? Or did you realize it was something that, you saw your clients really needing, or was it always just there for you?
So I do have an internal natural curiosity around human behavior,
Hmm.
right? I am fascinated by the way that humans show up and how we bump into each other in this great big life. At an early age, I was my mother exposed me to a lot of introspective things about human behavior. There was a seminar called EST, I
Okay.
was 16 and I was sitting in a human behavior awareness seminar,
Wow.
right? Learning that we all have an individual filter. We all have a view of the way that we see the world different than each other, and we act within those. So it was pretty ingrained in me. But I do have a natural pattern recognition, right? And a high level curiosity for why we do the things we do. And my view of the world is I'm a student of this life. So I probably something to learn from everything that happens to me. So that combination to me lines right up with my superpower. So it comes from multiple places, but it's very natural and very automatic for me. I can tell you what your mindset is with about 30 seconds of talking to you. I can
Oh
read it
yeah.
on you like a book.
You're
And,
like,
and
what's
so that's kind of
wrong? You're like, what's wrong? I'm like, nothing. You're like, don't look it. But that's just who you are. It's like if one of your kids call or one of your best friends call and you hear their voice, you're like, oh gosh, right? So, and
right.
we always meet on Zoom, so you see the faces. So I'll never forget with another dear friend of mine from Tom Ferry, you coach with. She said, "Yeah, I don't need any more marketing ideas. The only thing I work with on Tasha is my mindset as a leader." And I actually was like, "Oh my God, that's so amazing." So, why do you think it helps why do you think it helps us so much? I know you said that, I know you understand why it's important, but does it
Right.
calm us? Does it give us strength? Like, what do you think it does?
So you brought it up in the beginning where you said a lot of us got into real estate and we started selling houses and we were really good at that. And it turned into a team, right? It turned into a larger business. And some of us are pre wired to sell really well. But in terms of leadership or managing people, that's a big lift, and it's very different than managing a transaction that's going to be over in 30 to 45 days.
Yes.
You're dealing with humans on a daily basis in a highly emotional business, working with clients that are in a high emotional state, because we both know moving is in the top 5 most stressful things that you're going to do in your life.
Yeah.
And so if we don't have our mindset right and we don't know who we are, we are going to be whipped about by the emotions of others. So if we can figure out how we are our best and what triggers us or what supports us or what helps us stay calm or stay in action or stay driven, that's going to be the most important component in your business. But if you don't have the understanding of who you are and how you lead, you're going to bleed out onto everybody everything that you're feeling,
Yes.
right? Like a very insecure leader is going to lead with insecurity. And so they're going to be paranoid. They're going to be threatened. They're going to feel scarce. They're going to see a lot of things. Where if I can walk them through a scarcity mindset, they will turn and then see abundance, and they'll see what is possible and what they are good at and how to hone and grow those skills versus being stuck in your own stuff and having that spill out all over in every part of your business.
Yes. So you have a plan for this. And
Yeah, I do.
if anybody on our podcast wants a complete, huge diamond of wealthy information, this is it, Tasha. So let's talk about your plan.
Okay. Okay. We talked about having systems and structure for everything. We systematize our lead generation, we systematize our listing process, we systematize everything except our mindset.
Mhm.
We let that happen randomly, and we let the emotions come and we're carried about like a river with them, right? And so my thought was, if there was a system that was easy to lay into, that I could pull up quickly and I could manage my mindset over time, I'm going to have more sustained energy. I'm going to have less drama, and I'm not going to be flailing about based on my emotions. I'm not running my business on emotions. So the mindset management system that I developed, it's called the reset method, and it's an acronym. So reset is very simple way to lock in. And so the R means to recognize. First of all, become aware of what's happening. If you're beginning to be in a state or triggered or angry, stop and ask, what's going on here? right? So just recognize that you are in a different state. And then the E is examine. Ask questions. What belief is driving this? What fear is driving this? Why am I feeling this way? And here's the thing, don't overcomplicate it, because sometimes you're just tired.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a big thing. Sometimes you just need rest, but you got to examine it and you got to say, why am I here? And then the S is to select, choose. Do I want to stay here in this mindset? Is this serving me? Does this work for me? And the answer isn't always select out of it. Sometimes we have to feel our pain.
I love
Sometimes
the
we have
way
to
you
feel our
say
grief.
select, and also, do you want to be here? Do you want to own this? I think that's so important. I really do. And where is it coming from? Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. I
right.
love that.
And in this, so the selection process may give you the power to sit in what you need to sit in. If you're sad, I don't suggest you push right through that, but be curious about what the sadness is and where it comes from, because then you can take it and you can do the E, which is energize. You can shift the energy in your body from sadness to awareness, which takes the heaviness off of it often and allows us to carry it easily. And then the T for me is to transmute that energy. Here's what I mean. I'm sad, but I don't want to run away from it. When I'm sad, I get really creative and I write some really cool stuff. When I'm anxious, I will go to cook because I can chop, right? And so I'm transmuting what it is that I feel into something more positive. So if you just recognize, examine, select, energize, and transmute, you can manage your mindset in a way where you're in the driver's seat and you're not running your business or your life based on your emotions. You're checking in with them, you're owning them, and you're managing them instead of letting them take you out. A
Yeah.
lot of people run on autopilot and they have no self awareness that they're projecting negativity, fear, insecurity onto everything you're doing. If you can check here and go through the reset method, you're likely to be able to carry what it is you're carrying with greater ease.
Well, I also think it's so important, as we've talked about, and I think I just said it before, really understanding what is triggering you and why you're upset about it. Because if you cannot figure out what that is and then deal with it, and then come up to a solution, whether it's, as you said, you can cook, you can go for a walk, you can walk through home goods. Like there's so many things that you can do
You
just
can
to allow,
shop.
right? You can shop. Retail therapy is real, you know me. So,
it,
I think
it
that's
is a real thing.
there is a real thing. So I think to be aware of that, to know what's important for you to get you out of that. Some people go for a long walk. Some people go for a long run, which I don't understand, but they love to run. So you have to clear your head in any way that works for you.
You shift the energy. Emotion is energy in motion. So all you do is shift the energy away from focusing on, I'm mad, I'm sad, I hate this. You go, hold on, I'm going to shift this and go, oh, that's interesting. I wonder why I feel this way. That shift alone is the most important part, to take ownership for what it is and not let it run you, but be aware of it and use it and carry it however you can get it in the easiest form to carry.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with being upset. Everyone has a bad day. It's how you manage it and what you do with that energy that's so important. And I think that, knowing that sometimes people just want to know there's a solution. So to know that there's a plan is also so important.
Well, and to take the ownership part of it, it goes back to what I love in the most coachable people is that self-awareness factor. We often feel like everything is to us, everything is done to us, right? Well, why are they talking about me? Well, why did they do this? 9 times out of 10, people do not even have you in mind.
Yeah.
They're dealing with their own stuff, and this is how they do it. So if you can separate yourself and understand you are not this emotion is passing through you, and you have the opportunity to decide whether you want to let it ruin your day,
Yeah.
whether you want to go down the rabbit hole and let it take you into a funk, or whether you want to say, hey, I'm having a very human experience here. I'm tired. So instead of being salty, I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that awareness of
Do you
Yeah,
remember one day I said, I just need to vent for 5 minutes. I'm so pissed off about something. And I was
yeah,
going on, and I was all annoyed. And you said, "Oh my gosh, Karen, thank you so much for sharing that. What I'd like you to do is take the weekend to figure out why you're so pissed off." And I was like, "I know why I'm pissed off." And you're like, "That's not it." So I actually talked to like three people. I talked to my daughter and one of my best friends, and I was like, "So I'm pissed off about this, and this is why." But my Tasha told me that's not the reason. And Madison said to me, it's definitely not the reason. The reason is because people are talking about you and you don't like that. They're talking about you
yeah,
on your
yeah.
back. It's like, oh, wow. Thanks, Madison. Like, but to know the fairness of why I was so pissed off. And I just thought I was pissed off about the situation, not about why. And that's
Right,
another reason
right.
I think that you're incredible because you make us think at a higher level about ourselves and also about the business and how to put that all together. And that's not easy sometimes.
Here's the listen, we learn by living. You said I don't have a college degree, nor do I. I
Yeah.
have embodied wisdom.
Yeah.
I have been through so much in my life and I have learned how to navigate it. So mine is a lived experience. You got to go through it. This isn't unicorns and rainbows. My
No.
my father said to me when I found out I had breast cancer, my father said, "Tausha, I love you and nobody promised you a rose garden.
So I was
Nobody
going to
ever
bring
said you
that
were going to
up.
come here." Mhm.
I was going to bring that up because, and you're like, Karen, life has a lot of thorns. And this was about something else that was going on. That was serious and it's nothing to do with my health, but everyone's got some shit sometimes. So you told me
Sure,
that
sure.
story. And I'll also never forget that. But I know, that was something between us and I didn't want to share it. So thank you for sharing it. But I think it's so cool. So what did your dad say to you again? Just so everybody can really hear it.
So my dad said when I found out I had breast cancer, there's that waiting time where you're waiting to hear whether you do or you don't. And
Yep.
that is miserable, by the way. That's the hardest part for me. And then when I found out, I called my dad and I said, "Dad, the test came back and I do have it." And my dad said, "Honey, I love you. And nobody promised you a rose garden ever. So you put your shoulders back, you put your chin up, and you face this straight on. You listen to what the doctors do, you move through this, and you get back to your life. You
Yeah.
good?"
Yeah.
I was like,
Life has
"Okay."
thorns.
You have to expect some suffering, Karen.
Yeah.
We did not come here saying, "Ooh, this is going to be the yellow brick road. Everything's going to be amazing." I know anybody who
Yeah.
got out of this, gone through this life that didn't have some suffering. You
Yeah.
got to expect it
But you
and
also
not
have to
bring
have
it
the
on.
awareness and the management system to make yourself better and improve who you are and find the joy in your life. Like everyone deserves to have the joy that that they want. And that's so important.
Right.
Yes. So
Yep.
Tasha,
Yep.
one last thing that is like what else would you like to add about mindset before we say goodbye?
The best thing for your business is the best you.
Mm.
And it doesn't matter what you've got going on internally with your systems and structure. If you are off, if you are hiding, if you are working through something in a non productive way, that self sabotage is going to roll down and hit every single thing.
Yeah.
So if you can focus on being the best you and being the most self aware and self supporting person and working on your own personal things, then you can go past that wisdom and that life experience onto others and thread it into your business. And that's the most successful people that I see. You've got a great awareness of yourself and you've got the systems and structure in your business to support it. But the best thing for your business is the best you, hands down.
Yeah. Well, I can never thank you enough for many things, but joining us, being who you are, helping me, supporting my family. So I adore you. Love you so much. And I get to see you in Vegas soon.
You certainly do. And
Yeah.
I adore you. And
Yeah.
Karen, you are a pleasure to coach
Oh,
because of your self awareness. I love
thanks.
you.
I try. I try. It's a work in progress, right? Everybody is. So thank you
We
guys
all are.
so much for joining us. I hope you got the same love and energy that I get from Tasha every single week, every single week. So have a great day, everybody, and we'll talk soon. Take care.